Good morning, everybody. It's Annalisa Burgos here in the Hawaii News Now Digital Center, and we are talking to Representative Sue-Lee Loy this morning about Hilo.
Hilo.
And first of all, I wanted to take a moment to say happy birthday. A little birdie told me.
I was going to say, we've got friends. We've got friends.
Little birdie said it was your birthday today, so thank you for spending your birthday morning with us.
Absolutely. How special, right?
I know.
Who
And
can say they had a birthday and they had a digital podcast?
Yes. And also that you get to talk about your favorite things.
Yes.
The legislature. Yes.
My birthday wish.
So, first of all, freshman year's over. Well, not over. It's still the term's going. But you started and your 1 year is finished. What do you think was your main takeaways? What did you learn?
Yeah, so highlights definitely.
Yes.
It's quick. The legislature and the legislative session goes really quick. Things come at you at all hours of the day and night, and conversations happen real quick. Decisions happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And well, you obviously were serving over at the Hawaii County for several years.
Yes.
So not new to government, but what are some of the things that you've learned in kind of making deals? Because, we talk often about, compromise as lawmakers. You have priorities. Other lawmakers have priorities. How has that relationship, kind of progressed?
Yeah, I think at the council, you have a lot more time. You meet all year long. And so when you're looking at policy, you can kind of get it out there, refine it, have a lot of feedback, community input, and really polish it up. At the legislature, you've got to get it real good and really ready. And then, of course, the art of the deal. Just sometimes people have pieces of legislation that align with your policy work, and sometimes we can smash them all together, get something going. At the end of the day, though, the legislative session goes real fast. And on both sides, whether it's the county council or at the state, there's just a finite amount of resources, right? The budget is the budget, and we're all trying to do amazing things for people in our community with limited funds.
Yeah, and you represent District 2 over in Hawaii Island?
Yes.
Tell us about the district and what kind of issues your constituents face.
Yeah, Waikea. When you think of Hilo, that's the district that I represent.
Waikea, hi!
Yes.
And I heard you were a cheerleader. And I was asked for you to give the cheer.
YES. Absolutely, positively, yes. The best. That's what Waikea High School will develop. The best. I do. I have, when you think of Hilo, Bayfront, downtown, Waikea Uka, just what I call Hilo proper, in my best British accent. Hilo proper. I've got the university, I've got a middle school, high school. And what we're hearing in the district really is about higher education, educational pathways for our kids. Then, of course, more of a bigger issue really is supporting our kiki and our kupuna through programs. I'm blessed that I get to sit on both the Finance Committee along with Vice Chair of the Committee on Health. And so some of my passion projects really have been refined just because of what Hilo needs and the committees that I sit on.
Those are some very important committees. Speaking of which, we've been talking a lot lately, especially yesterday during the opening ceremony, about how lawmakers are going to be able to, focus on a lot of these important programs, healthcare programs, social safety net programs, especially with the, federal cuts and everything.
Yes. Yeah, and so last session, through the Finance Committee, we also run the Grant and Aid program. So we're able to touch a number of people who fill in the gaps, right? Where government takes a while to stand up or show up, our nonprofits really fill that gap. So that Grant and Aid program, along with the tranche of $50 million that we were able to give in addition to what we gave during session, was a great safety net. And it came in at a time when we saw a lot of pullback from the federal government. This session, the state has been awarded the Rural Transformative Healthcare Grant, which will be $180 million every year for the next 5 years, which is about $1 billion coming into the state. And for our rural communities, like the Big Island, like Maui, like Kauai, Molokai, Lanai, here's an opportunity for us to infuse a lot of money into our health systems, along with taking care of our kiki and our kupuna, and putting healthcare into the hands of local healthcare professionals.
Yeah, such an important cause, especially for our neighbor islands, especially, because we have a shortage of not only medical professionals, but just access to resources is such an issue. Are you seeing that improve?
Yeah, and I am seeing it improve. I think there's definitely spaces that the legislature can work in. When it comes to our workforce, we've put a lot of money into scholarship programs, or loan repayment programs, I should say, encouraging people to get into that healthcare profession and then stay and then help serve us. This year, I'm really excited working with Governor Green. We were able to put in $5.7 million to help modify our library at Waikia High School.
That's great.
Which would be kind of a career pathway and career academy for juniors and seniors who are at Waikia High School looking at what they might want to do when they grow up. They can take a little sampling through that career academy program and then right into our glide program for the University of Hawaii at Hilo, which is right across the street. So I'm really excited about that ecosystem where we're looking at developing career pathways, but doing it in a way that makes sense, where the kids already are attending school and recognizing higher education is just across the street for them.
That's perfect. I know because we also talk about developing our young and our youth workforce, right? And preventing them from having to move to the continent for opportunities. Are there any specific programs or things that we could see as far as that aspect of keeping our people home?
Yeah, I think there's going to be, especially in our higher education committee, I think we're going to see a lot of workforce pipelines that will be created and or just built up. I think kids learn in all kinds of ways, whether it's healthcare, whether it's with our trades, right? Whether it's our carpenters, our plumbers, our electricians, we need housing. And so at the end of the day, we need to build up that workforce pipeline. And even at our Hawaii Community College, those trade programs, we all need a mechanic. We all need a digital engineer. And so these are great opportunities, great education, but great paying jobs. I know how much I paid for my car to have the oil change.
And continual maintenance. Especially here in Oahu with the potholes. Like, I don't know how many times I'm replacing tires. Like, it's ridiculous. Especially here in Dillingham. Right?
Absolutely. And Hilo, we just drive far.
Right? To get from one end of the island to the other. Oh, my goodness. It's like totally different universes.
Yeah. Big Island, we're big.
Go big or go home. But that's so important. And, giving those opportunities to young people. You spoke about housing and housing prices and homelessness issues. We had Representative Matthias Kush here earlier. And again, talking about that for your struggle for homelessness in your district. How is that going?
Yeah, that's one other thing that's really popped up as far as how do we care for our homeless or create housing. And side note, my son, who's 25, in an apartment going to school, but I kind of consider him homeless because if he wasn't at school, he'd be at home with me, and we need a home for him. And so this interim, I sat on and chaired a permitted interaction group around how do we do better at our permitting systems and getting building construction permits quicker. We've found a number of recommendations, whether it's more workforce training. We looked at a program when we see injured workers, especially, our contractors. How do we upskill them or reskill them to now actually be on the other side of the counter and help approve some of these construction permits? One thing that's kind of a rage baiter question for me.
We love rage bait. Tell us what the rage bait is.
Well, recently, the Public Utility Commission put on an additional fee for our neighbor islands. So when we talk about shipping costs, right, a lot of goods get shipped into Honolulu, but there's an additional 68% that gets put on just through shipping costs to the neighbor islands.
Yes.
And so how do we refine and or look at exceptional pathways, whether it's our goods, shipping them back and forth for our local farmers, whether it's housing, right? And maybe carving out some exception on the cost of materials that have to go back and forth. And how do we do that better? Because at the end of the day, attainable housing, affordable housing, whatever, workforce housing, teacher housing, whatever you call it, it's a home. And we need to do better at making sure that we provide homes for people who can attain them at their price point.
Yeah, and especially just being able to get the materials to build them, like you said. That's a fundamental issue right at the roots. So we talked about housing. And what other priorities are big for you this session? There's so many, right? So if there's specific bills that you feel need some exposure or awareness, is there any?
Yeah, we're definitely tracking a lot of bills. We got some, again, during the interim, we put together an aeromedical task force and how we actually provide services through aeromedicine to get them to our Trauma One hospitals. So we did a lot of work there. I think this is another area where that Rural Healthcare Transformative Healthcare Grant will help provide a lot of resources so that we can get healthcare back and forth between our islands. One passion project I'm stepping into is with the Department of Transportation, Airports Division. Ed Sniffen, love him.
Shout out to Ed.
Shout out to Ed. He's awesome. He's amazing. We talked a little bit about how do we use airports and grow the economy for Hawaii Island. And so we're looking at developing a hotel at the Hilo Airport. We hope to put out, or he hopes to put out a bid sometime in March and maybe get to contract by the end of the year. And everybody asks, how big is it? What are we doing? We want to right size that hotel. We have local travelers, especially headed to Hilo. Hilo special. We have special signature events this weekend. We had the KWXX downtown Ho'olaulea. All of our musicians were coming in. Let's never forget our Mare Monarch festivals, which is covered internationally. And then we have other stuff like World Sprints, our canoe clubs. We have volleyball tournaments. So how do we right size that hotel for local families? And then the business traveler. Then, of course, the visitors who, thanks to Tutu Pele, show up every time.
She likes to have a show.
She likes to have a show, and it's just absolutely magical. And we do see the uptick during these signature events and special magical occasions like an eruption.
So this is like a demand for more of this transitional type of hotel lodging, right? Without having to increase the vacation rentals because of the new laws around that.
Absolutely.
Building an economy around
that. And late last year, earlier this year, Southwest Airlines introduced they would be doing direct flights between Hilo and Las Vegas.
Uh-oh. That's going to mean more people, yeah.
Well, and so many of our families,
in a good way, yeah.
But so many of our families are there too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So how do we right-size that hotel and then complement, something like Southwest Airlines and their plans to bring in direct flights?
Okay.
No, that's Las Vegas.
And so this is one of your projects that you're working on.
Sort of. We're just championing it with Director Sneffen, who we know he's a get-her-done kind of guy.
Yeah. Is it, so now do you need to get funding, or What's the step in the legislature?
Yeah, at the legislature, definitely. And when it comes to transportation dollars and so much of what we see as far as improvements, the color of their money is very different. We've got the general fund, but transportation dollars come from fuel tax, all of our cruise ships, those types of things. So his color of his money is a little different. We have some money there if we have to put some money to get it started, but his goal really is to allow hotelier, like Marriott, Hilton, you name it, come in, build it for us, and the terms of that would be kind of wrapped around more in the lease agreement and the lease option of having a hotel at the airport.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you did mention all of these wonderful things that are a draw for Hawaii Island and the Hilo area, but are you seeing tourism really thriving still, or how is the economy as far as tourism goes?
On the east side, for sure, I think those signature events happen at the right quarters of a year. So we see what we need to see, and then we kind of back down a little bit, and then the next thing, we go get ready for the next event. And so for Hawaii Island, especially on the east side, tourism is based on those draws. The volcano erupting, a signature event. On the west side, definitely, we have very high-end hotels on the west side. And so more boutique, I would call them boutique travelers, right? Who can afford a stay at Mauna Kea, Mauna Lani, or Hualalai.
Yeah, those are some very bougie properties, I do have to say. Yeah, but I guess overall, because we've been talking a lot about how Hawaii can go away from reliance on the tourism economy. I'm just wondering if there are initiatives that you've seen that are promoting other types of revenue generating industries that we can really focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think our farmers and ranchers are doing a great job. How do we feed local, buy local? One area to a good friend of mine, she's over at Naleo TV, and kind of creating career pathways for our kids around digital media, right? Giving them that exposure where they want to be a journalist one day or just an engineer.
Like here we are. This is an example of digital media right here.
Right.
Yeah,
and
that's
learning,
wonderful.
Yeah, and so I'm really excited for that kind of different type of economy that keeps Hilo special.
Yeah. What's the challenge that you found in terms of trying to invest in these types of initiatives, right? Obviously, it's a tight budget year. That's always going to be the discussion, like difficult priorities, right? But how do you continue to fund these types of programs?
That's a great question. I think because Hawaii Island is unique. We're big. Big Island's big. And so we have a lot of infrastructure challenges. So whether we're trying to grow economy in spaces, oftentimes we have to go in and put in the infrastructure, right? The roads, the power, the sewer systems. And so we have to kind of infill pockets like Hilo, like Waimea, and then hopefully expand out. One thing that's really great, and I'm always very proud of, is Hilo it's a tapestry of family and friends. And so how do we partner things like Department of Hawaiian Homelands and their land holdings with other landowners and start to put in the mechanics and the infrastructure, the framework that's needed to grow healthy communities. And then, of course, the education system, which I'm really excited to have.
In your
in my district,
Yeah.
And then really just kind of keep all of our families home, but from our keiki all the way through our kupuna.
Yeah. Well, I know when you talk about kupuna and health, you mentioned being a vice chair for the health committee. What about Medicaid and those costs?
Yeah, right. And so that was actually pretty scary. I think we have very smart people who are really watching and looking out around the corner. I think when those Medicare and Medicaid cuts came through, we knew they were coming, but we just didn't know what it would look like. And so when we were able to move in thank you to Governor Green for allowing us to put money into our food SNAP benefit card and kind of using resources that we had through a TANF grant. One thing we also did just on Hawaii Island, parallel to that, was, I worked with Vibrant Hawaii, which is a great community organization, and we started to stand up food hubs in community, really bringing our local families together in these specific hubs and igniting them. And then, of course, just a lot of philanthropic dollars. And then just our local businesses, shout out to KTA, right? HPM, Isimoto Contracting. I mean, they've been in Hilo for generations. And so we were able to get through that. And this session, I think there's not very much money. But I think we have some very bright minds in our leadership on how we braid our nonprofit money, our philanthropic money, and then partner that with our government money and hopefully get it into community.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, right? The hui together and get it done. Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's good. So now that, we talked about all of these issues, what are you, I guess to wrap it all up as a nice bow, what would be kind of your wish this session coming out on the other end? And then we'll invite you back and see if it actually happened.
I know.
And a message for our viewers who might, be thinking about how they can engage, how they might be able to, help support some of the programs or some of the bills that are making their way.
Yeah, I think keeping an eye on what we're doing as far as infusing that rural transformative healthcare grant into our communities. We're always looking for new ideas. That money is really unique. It's not intended to pay for programs that we have, but establish new programs. And so we're really looking for feedback. I know there's a lot of nonprofits out there and other people who are doing programs that are actually really stretched. And if they think of new things, give me a call. Definitely watching for Hilo Airport. And one thing that both Matthias Cush, Representative Todd, and I are always very passionate about is the revitalization of Banyan Drive. There's been policy work since as far back as former legislator Richard Onishi and now Mark Nakashima, who has since passed. And it's a great legacy project, I think, that we really need to pull together. Ideally, I would love to see a lot more community involvement in the revitalization of Banyan Drive and putting in the elements that are special to Hilo. Yes, we need economy. Yes, we need hotels. But there's some great open space there. It connects us between the harbor and Hilo, downtown Hilo, where are great farmers markets and great local shops. And I don't want to ever forget the cultural element that's, always a fabric and a part of Hilo. And just more signage. Hopefully we can get it done this year. There's a couple of bills that I definitely will share that will be tracking and getting it done.
Okay. Well, wonderful. I always love to talk about our neighbor islands. Sometimes when we live on Oahu, we get too, entrenched in what happens here. But whenever our neighbor island folks come in, it's so nice to hear what's going on.
Yeah. Maui might be Nogo'oi, but I think we're the big and best island.
There's some fighting words there.
But you guys come on over. Everybody needs a break.
Yeah, no, anytime I feel like I need to escape Oahu, the Big Island is definitely where I want to go.
The best food, right? The best snacks. You can't leave without getting some Two Ladies Kitchen mochi. Right?
I know you said that's so bad for me. Good thing I don't live there. I feel like they're every day.
And let's not forget the fashion, because we have fashionistas and fashion houses from Six Saints, Simply Sisters.
Oh yeah, right? I always wear those.
Maika, Kamahoa, Li'i, Manaola, they're all from Big Island, and so we definitely want to celebrate all of them too.
I love it, and we will be there. I will be there for Merry Monarch. I always make it a point to at least go for one night just to see some of the wonderful hula and
one night.
At least that's the only time they can let me out of here. but I will see you there.
We should push our craft vendors to stay open 24 hours.
Thank you. Can you? They probably don't
will
want.
not
They
do
want
it.
to enjoy too.
Yes,
they
they
want
do.
to be part of the competition part too. So, anyway, but thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Representative Sue Lee Loy joining us this morning, and look out for her and fellow Hawaii Island legislators doing some amazing
From
things.
the big and best island.
Okay, that's her motto. It's like we just put it there. All right, and that's it for us here. I'm Annalisa Burgos for Hawaii News Now.